You can't say how much they did for Nathan. It's amazing, amazing.
Nathan Taillon was 16 when the accident happened. He was circling in and out of a blind driveway in his newly built go-kart when he got hit by a scooter.
The second the scooter hit me, done.
Nathan's dad got to the site of the accident before the paramedics.
Waited for the ambulance technicians to get there. Starting there is when I knew, well, I felt comfortable because they were amazing too. Everything was in control right from the start.
The police officer actually drove the ambulance so the two ambulance technicians could keep reviving him.
2 pairs of hands were barely enough to stabilize the patient and help maintain his vital signs. Nathan's mom was at work when she got the call.
On my drive to the hospital, I said, oh, you know, a couple broken legs. Worst case scenario, a couple broken legs. When I walked into the emergency room and saw my husband all covered in blood, that's when I said, oh, it's got to be serious.
Since Nathan wore no helmet, the front of his head and his skull took the brunt of the scooter's impact.
The face was split in half with pieces of bone. It was cut from all above here, around there, in between the eyes, through the nose here, and down to here.
This came down here. This eye came down here.
As the orbit sort of exploded, and the eye was not held where it should be. Instead of being here, it was gone down by about 1.5 inches, and it was turned downwards, and it was looking toward his tooth roots.
And it was my biggest trauma case like this.
Not only did he suffer the fractured skull, but a piece of bone had entered the left side of his frontal lobe, about 5 centimeters deep.
Here it was digging like this. It was digging like this in your brain.
Well, that's not so good.
No, that wasn't so good. I was not worried about his survival. I was more worried about how he would survive. I mean, what kind of quality of life he would have.
As a neurosurgeon, Dr. Mathieu had to be careful while cleaning up the part of the brain that wasn't good anymore. The trauma was located in the area that controls the speech functions and the motricity of the right side.
How much to leave and when to stop, and at some point you got some hemorrhage there, but you don't want to go too deep and cause more damage with the surgery. You just want to clean things up and get out of there.
It was a big challenge, and when it works out well and the team works together, you can't ask for more. This is a kid who was having fun an hour ago. Depending on how well this turns out, he can still be having fun a month from now, or be in a wheelchair and brain dead and not going anywhere.
When Dr. Dorion got to the operating room, he barely knew the condition Nathan was in.
He was under general anesthesia in the operating room, having his whole face peeled wide open. But David Mathieu, the neurosurgeon, was in there with his instrument. His brain was exposed. There's pieces of bone sticking right out of there.
The brain being exposed to room air for numerous hours, the anesthesiologist had to be alert.
One of the problems we run into is that the platelets that coagulate blood stop working after several hours of this type of operation. But Dr. Medicus was outstanding at keeping his platelets working. So he just got lucky and got going. It still has at least 5 or 6 plates plus 30-odd screws in there, holding everything together.
The surgery lasted from 7 at night to 3 in the morning. Nathan then laid in a coma for about a week.
I was standing right beside his bed, and he still had all the tubes and stuff, but he mouthed, "Hi, Mom." That was the first thing that he said. As soon as he woke up, I was standing beside him, and I knew then he was going to be okay.
The Dr. Mathieu said, "Was it a blue scooter that hit you?" I was like, "How did you do that?" "I found some scrapings inside your face." Yeah. I couldn't get them all out.
16-year-old played football for the Alexander Galt Pipers. He was no quitter.
Nathan woke up. So his father said to him that Coach Breck was here and brought him a bracelet that said, "Never quit."
I miss playing football.
Nathan lost sight in his left eye. He can't play football anymore, but he's involved as a coach with the Bantam Pipers, a team on which his younger brother Sasha plays.
Are you ready to break down? Yeah! Ready? Break down!
He had t-shirts made for every player with his new motto, "Never quit."